Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here with the baby boy, Brice Isaiah.
Robert, what's going
We're
on?
here to sit around the water cooler to catch up, and we've been doing this for a couple of months now. Where we say once a month, let's just get on here, sit and let's spill the tea, drink out of the water cooler, and catch up about some things that are on Bryce's mind. Brice, what's happening?
Robert, a lot. It's crazy that we're calling this the water cooler because it always kind of like reverts back to my job. And right before we got on, I had to went into a meeting about our goals, our personal performance goals for the year.
Yes.
And if you remember for the initial water cooler,
You had to do your own assessment.
correct. And so now this meeting was about setting our goals for the year. And you know how I checked all of them off, exceeds expectation. But then my manager kind of threw a loop into the thing. She added her own goals. And then I was
Yeah.
like, no, wait a minute. I thought these were supposed to be my personal performance goals, but it's like company wide. And now we have to, at every quarter of the year, we need to give 3 positive updates or 3 positive stories.
Positive stories. Now, how are those stories about you or stories about the people you work with?
About, I'm a social worker, so
Yeah.
about our clients. And if any of the social workers that are listening, if you know, 3 stories, sometimes 3 positive stories every 2 years is a lot to
Yeah.
ask. And now
And
you're
how
asking
often?
every quarter.
The quarter.
With the caseload that I have, Robert, I don't even think you understand what I deal with sometimes at work. Let me just take you on a little social worker Brice Isaiah day. I'm minding my business, typing away. My phone is ringing. Now, normally I don't answer phone calls. I let them leave a voicemail. I hear it. I'll return it later. This call continues to call me. And I'm like, okay, let me pick up. Hello? They're like, hi, can I speak to Brice? This is Brice. They're like, hi, this is from Adult Protective Services. So, oh, this is serious. They're like, we got a report of abuse, and we need for you to follow up on this. This is your case. I said, oh my God, well, what type of abuse? They said exploitation. I said, I was like, okay. They told me my client's name. I'm like, I just spoke to them literally last week. What are the allegations? Now, again, this is Adult Protective Services. They're like, I don't know. I need for you to investigate. Wait, I, I thought this was Adult Protective Services. I thought you investigate and you come to your own conclusion. And obviously, I will follow up. But this person was like, no, I need for you to go out and if you can report back to me. Okay, so what's the allegation? They're like, so they don't tell me anything. They're just saying like, is an abuse report for exploitation. I'm like, oh my God.
I don't even know what that means.
So what am I supposed to do with that? So then a week later, this person calls back and they say for financial exploitation. This is what the report is coming in for. Allegedly, their bank called it in. And I said, okay, well, have you called? Have you gone out? They said, no, I was waiting to hear from you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I go out, stop everything I'm doing. I go out, I meet with my client. I hear the story. I'm like, is everything okay? And again, like, I don't want to, I feel like as a social worker, you have to like be careful with the questions that you ask, because if they know I'm going out and say they are being abused, Robert, and I go out and I ask probing questions, they will be reluctant to answer them because they know what I'm asking. And so I'm just like, how's everything going? Everything's good. Yeah, okay. I'm like, do you have your bank card, everything, your debit card's intact? They're like, yeah. And then a family member was there and I was like, well, what did you do last week? And they're like, I went to New Jersey. I'm like, well, New Jersey. Okay. Then they say Camden. I say Camden. So it's not funny. But then I noticed like his arm was wrapped up. And so I said, oh my God. Like, so now I'm like, I'm getting nervous. I'm like, what happened to your arm? Like, I fell in the shower. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, we're getting somewhere. I said, here? They're like, no. I said, okay, well, where did you fall in the shower? At Motel 6. Okay, so now my social worker brain
Yeah.
like New Jersey, Camden, Motel 6. Okay, first of all, we have services in the home because you can't get around and you need support. Why are you in New Jersey, Camden, Motel 6? So, okay, then I'm asking some more probing questions. And I said, okay, like visiting family. And then the family member chimes in, his girlfriend. So, girlfriend. Then the family member goes, tell them about your $300 charge to Rite Aid. First of all, if you're a social worker, family members are the best.
Yeah.
They will tell you everything you need to know. So now, again, Robert, I'm thinking New Jersey, Camden, Motel 6, $300 to Rite Aid. I said, what did you spend $300 at Rite Aid on, family member? Perfume. Okay, so then I had to chuckle a little bit. I said, have I been Christmas shopping wrong? Like, does Rite Aid have all of the perfumes? So again, I'm asking some more probing questions and I'll come to my conclusion. And to me, what it sounds like, my client or my participant that I serve has a pay for hire girlfriend in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I guess this person or this said girlfriend maybe went to the bank on their own and tried to withdraw some money. So that was serious.
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
were able to
Now,
address and
can you tell, like, is it like a is there exploitation, or is it some sort of like a sugar daddy situation that the family member didn't approve? Like, was the person that you are looking in after, did he feel like he was being exploited?
he did not. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that also was part of the problem, right? Like, where it's like, why are you giving your debit card? Well, first of all, why are you in New Jersey? Why are you falling in the shower? I don't even want to know. And so, again, it is a matter of this person is an adult. They may have some limitations,
Mm-hmm.
but they are an adult. They can make their own decisions. And if they want to go to New Jersey, but it did look like said girlfriend was maybe taking advantage and had access to his debit card that he was unaware of. And so, again, giving this information, I'm not Adult Protective Services. I'm just a social worker that provides services and ensure the services are being met. However, today I was a Adult Protective Services because we were able to contact the bank,
Yeah.
get a new debit card, put some protective measures in to ensure that no one else could access this card. But Robert, it just, so when I was in my meeting and my manager was like, oh, we need positive stories. Three every quarter. I said, you know what? This is a positive story that you're going to hear about. Okay.
Yeah. Got one. Yeah.
Got one.
Yeah. You're like an investigator. You're like out here, like on the trying to crack the case.
I mean, somebody's got to do it because apparently Adult Protective Services is not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what
You're
I
like a
have to do.
detective.
And mind you, I do love it though, Robert, because I love it and I hate it because I really am just good at it just naturally. I'm just naturally asking questions, trying to figure stuff out. But again, shout out to the family member that was upstairs, allegedly minding their business, but chiming in, leading me to the clues to help. I felt like it was traitors, right? Like I felt like
Mhm.
I'm getting ready to banish somebody, but I did banish the pay for hire girlfriend. She's gone. She's out of here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, she's probably pissed. I hope she's not listening.
I hope that $300 perfume from Rite Aid. And then I was just so curious, like, what perfume did you get at Rite Aid for $300? And also, Rite Aid is my drugstore of choice.
Oh, okay.
I don't like a Walgreens. I don't like a CVS. I like a Rite Aid, but Rite Aids are going out of business.
Yeah. Why? What are they doing wrong that CVS and Walgreens are doing right?
Rite Aid, their prices just are right. I've been a member of Rite Aid since I was in 8th grade. I have like my little key card. You type in your number, and I spend so much there that I get like 30% off the sales stuff. So it's like Rite Aid is
Okay.
just like, I'm so sad it's going out of business.
See, I guess I feel like I'm getting confused between Rite Aid and I feel like that all those stores, if you're not just buying like your medicine, I feel like things are very expensive
No,
there. But
not Rite Aid. I
yeah,
felt like Rite Aid's prices are always reasonable, but maybe that's why they're going out of business because they're too reasonable.
too reasonable. Okay. All right. Well, Brice, I know there was one topic in particular that you especially wanted to talk about today.
Yes, Robert, the UFOs. I feel like, again, we briefly touched upon the UFOs in our first water cooler, but Robert, it's a real thing. I mean, a lot is happening. And again, I don't sleep at night. I used to watch cooking videos about pig feet and different stuff on the
Mhm.
YouTubes. Now, my nightly obsession is UFOs, UFAs, or UFPs is what they're calling them now. It,
Unidentified flying phenomenon.
because UFOs would lead to unidentified objects, but phenomenons.
Mhm.
It's a lot going on. Now, what caught my attention, well, first of all, whenever you are scrolling on the TikTok or reading Twitter and they're like, oh, we saw an alien or we saw something, it's always the same video recirculating. And I'm like, okay, that's not real. Because if where you're saying this happened at, if it were real, it's 2025. The only person that still has an Android is Sam Moore. So like,
Wow, catching strays.
so
There are
everyone
people who have Android. That's more than Sam.
okay. Well, Sam and his friends, they have the Androids, but everyone has iPhones, everyone has smartphones. We would be capturing photos of these sightings. Now, back in early March, again, I'd be on a Reddit, I'd be on the Telegram news information, Twitter. There were these whistleblowers, and a lot of people were talking about that they were like alleged U.S. Navy sailors and some military, and they were sharing some information, and they were saying that there was a claim of this massive underwater ship has been discovered off the coast of Daytona Beach, and I was like, whoa. And you know me, I'm love to
Yeah.
dive into the comments. I'm like, oh, what are they saying? What is this? And so these whistleblowers allegedly were saying that the ship is beneath the ocean. It has these powerful energy waves, and that it's been ships like the US Navy ships and like cruise ships that have been, I don't want to say driving by, but sailing by. When these power surges happen, they lose power. And everyone's like, oh my God, this is crazy. What's happening? And so, again, people are just reporting about it. But now this is where it piqued my interest because around March 20th on TikTok, this video, Robert, started surfacing. And again, in the Reddit little forum, they were saying like it emerges from the water and it shines as bright as the sun. And people are like, oh my God, what is this? And March 20th, I want to say it was like a Saturday, these videos started surfacing of this object hovering over the water, and it was super bright. And the thing that got me with this one was that there were so many different videos of this thing.
I didn't hear
And
anything about this.
Robert, you got to be up at 4 a.m. on TikTok. Okay.
Yeah. Did
I
they
need to
cover it up? Why didn't I hear about this? I do News AF every week.
Tyson, no. I know Tyson, no.
Tyson knew? Did Danny know?
Danny might have been asleep. I know Tyson knew. But again, it's just kind of not spooky, but I just, in high school, I took astrology. Space is just so big, Robert. We can't grasp how big space is. But if you remember earlier in the new year, there was that congressional hearing with the Republican
Yep.
senators, 10 something, and essentially he was whistleblowing in saying like, we're looking up, but really they're here. It's the ocean.
In the ocean.
And they raised this question, Robert. We spend all of this money going where?
To space?
Okay. Yes. What do you know the percentage of how much our earth is covered in water?
70%.
How much exploration has there been of the deep sea?
Well, I know those guys tried to go to the Titanic.
Leave the Titanic alone. Now, also, let me ask
Yeah.
you a question real quick, Rob. If you and Nicole happened to have been on the Titanic and the Titanic went down
Yeah.
and all y'all had was a door and Nicole was on the door
Mm-hmm.
and you were just at the top of the door in the water, would that have been okay with you? Like, would you have would you have
Would
been
I have
okay with
died? I think I would have tried to get on it a second time. I'm like, okay, let me make some room. There's room for me. I could fit. I could fit.
Robert?
How about this? What if you get on my back? I'll get on it.
Robert,
I mean, he didn't even try again.
that first of all, you know, Titanic is one of my favorite movies ever. I don't want to age myself, but for Christmas one year, Barb got me the Titanic double VHS set. I love Titanic, and that's been a gripe that I've had for Rose for a very long time.
Yeah.
Get up
wasn't right.
here.
It wasn't right that she did that.
Rest in peace, Jack Dawson. But yeah, the ocean is wide and deep, right?
Yeah. So, well, what's happening now?
So with that congressional hearing, they were saying that, again, y'all looking up, you need to be looking down. The aliens or the UAPs, they're here. They're in the ocean. And
Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach. Well, that's where where there is an alleged mothership out off the coast of Daytona Beach. And you're seeing these things pop up. When you look at the video, you'll see it. It's in the middle of the night. It's like hovering over.
And it still pops up?
Right now or then?
Okay, so now it's not, or now that we're not talking about it.
So no, I mean, no one's talking about it, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that, like, can we meet them? Can we like they've been here? And then of course you can just do a deep dive of all of the sightings of things hovering over the ocean, coming out of the ocean, and they believe potentially this life form has been here under the ocean the whole time.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's a rabbit hole. I'm just telling you. I mean, it really is. And I do find it interesting because, again, I just always said that when you think of our universe and you think of where the earth is, the possibility of there just being one Robert, there just being one Jeff Probst, like they're the only people on the world in the universe that are, it just can't be.
Okay. So I'm gonna play. Tell me if this is what you saw. The thing that's brighter than the sun over the water. Okay. So, okay, check this out. Okay. Let me play this. And I'm gonna play without sound, and just so we can see what's going on here. And so that's the thing that's hovering.
That's one of the sightings that they're saying. And again, you need to remember that 2 weeks prior to this is when that Reddit discussion was coming up of like these whistleblowers in the Navy and military were saying that there's a mothership that's off of off of Daytona Beach, and it's coming out of the ocean. It's shining brighter than a sun. And this isn't the mothership. I don't believe it's, probably something landing or coming, but I'm just saying, what is that? That's not the moon.
Yeah.
That's not the sun.
Are you scared?
No. This excites me, Robert.
You're excited.
I am.
Do you want to be the first human to meet the aliens?
Uh, not the first, maybe
Yeah.
like the fourth or the fifth, but it just leads me to believe that there's just so much that we just don't know, and I like it. Anything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Eh,
never saw one that glows like that before.
I'm saying, Robert, it's a lot. And then in that congressional hearing that they had in January, they were essentially saying that we've made contact with them before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They've discovered I guess I don't know of a crash landing, but they've discovered aircraft material. And so they lead us to believe that they don't really want the general public to know about this because we are in a race with China, Russia, all of the other major countries to re-engineer the science of it all.
Yeah.
I'm a science major. I just want to know what they look like. I just want to hey,
Yeah.
can you wipe my credit clear? Can you wipe my credit clear? Can you
Do you think that's what they'll do when they're here? That they'll just erase the books from creditors?
can you tell we're the center to stop calling me? We don't know what they can do.
We don't know what they'll do. We don't know.
But it's just for me, it's like little third grade me self that loves science and just the space, and it is so much that we just don't know.
Yeah.
About everything, and I just find it extremely interesting, and I just feel like, why is no one talking about this?
Too much going on.
I know the traders, I know Deal or No Deal Island, but this is real.
Yeah. Do you think that the fact that they're here and they haven't done anything yet, is that a good sign, or are they just learning about us?
I don't know. Because what people have been saying for years about space, about ocean, again, we've been looking up, right? Instead of they saying we should be looking down. And then when you think about the countless stories that you hear about weird things happening in the sea, now this might be a hard shift, but it makes me think about the Little Mermaid.
Yeah. How so? Do you think it was a true story?
Because how you come up with that idea, number one, right? I really do. And then you hear the stories of the mermaids and mermaids themselves about how they lure sailors, right? They'll be on the ship and then it's they'll hear a whoa, whoa, whoa. And the sailors are like, hey, is someone out there?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, help me. And then the sailors are like, we got to go save them. And they jump into the water and they go missing. Now, were they drinking? I don't know. But it just makes a lot of things for me, ask a lot of questions.
Yes. Yeah. Nobody's ever thought of this before, that maybe what if mermaids are aliens?
And they're saying there's a mothership. If you've seen Little Mermaid, you know. There's a whole kingdom.
Was Ariel an alien?
Ariel. Robert, you listen. These are the things that I think about at night. And I do spare you, but I will send a voice audio note to Wendell, to my mom at 4 a.m. asking these type of questions.
Yeah. What does Wendell say?
Wendell sometimes will block me for the day. No, I'm being so serious. I'll text him and it will say deliver. And I have to call him from a block number and say, why did you block me? And Wendell says, you're texting me at 4 a.m. 2-minute long voice notes.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get excited when you learn new information. But again, I just say that whether it's real or not, it does beg the question of what is that?
Yeah. Brice, when I was little, one of the things that I used to be really afraid of I watched a TV show about alien abductions. And for many, many years, I used to be petrified at nighttime that I would be abducted by aliens.
How are they going to come get you?
They come get you. You ever heard the stories about the people that get abducted by aliens? You're sort of like in bed, and then you sort of like are like paralyzed, and they have like the light, and they like pull you up to the ship, and then they're like mess with you.
Have you ever heard of sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you before?
I feel like I don't have that so much. Well, a little bit once in a while. I have like a dream, like I like driving in a car and I can't move or something like that.
I've had dreams, or I've been in a state of like, I know I'm awake, but like I can't move my arms.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh, and you kind of like freak out. But what if what if I was abducted?
Yeah. Well, there was a movie when I was younger that was called Fire in the Sky. And it was like the story about a guy who like allegedly he was like camping and then in the woods, and then the aliens took him and they messed with him.
Did he come back?
He comes back. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that there's anybody, I've never heard a story of like that the aliens like just, because you wouldn't even know. But maybe that's what a lot of missing persons cases, maybe the aliens have them. Has anybody ever thought of that?
Cold case.
Cold case. Okay. But yeah, people have these stories, and I used to like read like a lot of like weird books about like mysteries and stuff like that, like Stonehenge, like in the library at the school. And I would read about these things, and yeah, that was a big one. You could get abducted by aliens.
Did they clear your credit though?
I don't know. I don't think that people had as many credit problems then.
So with you speaking about abductions, then let me draw another streamlined point to you. Have you heard about the Bermuda Triangle?
For sure, I've heard about the Bermuda Triangle. What my younger son is very concerned about the Bermuda Triangle.
Abductions, Bermuda Triangle. We're thinking up when it's really down.
Mm-hmm.
Could these ships, and there are countless stories of ships that have gone into the Bermuda Triangle and poof.
Yeah. Would you sail into the Bermuda Triangle?
Yes.
Yeah, you're not worried.
No, but yes. But I would.
You want to see what's in there. You're curious.
I do. Yes, but I would be a little scared. You've been on a cruise before, Robert? Right?
I really have never been on a cruise.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's also outside of aliens in the ocean. My other obsession is cruises. I've been really enjoying I guess after the 9-month cruise of last year, it has an upsurge of people that go cruising. They like document it, and it's so fun. And
you watch videos of people going on cruises.
And oh my God, here is a funny story, Robert. When I tell you again, when I get obsessed about something, I go down, the rabbit hole. So it was TikTok first and watching the cruises. And then I was like, it's not enough. I need a long forum of this. I want to watch someone's vlog of them cruising. And again, I can just put it on. I stream it to my TV, and it soothes me. You will not believe, Robert, I want to say 3 months ago, who I came across that used to be a TikTok or a YouTube cruiser.
Who?
Rome from Survivor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rome used to go on cruises and document it?
Robert, I thought I was dreaming. And of course, it's like 3:45 in the morning. You know who I text? I send this to the window. I'm like, is this Rome? And after he unblocked me, and the next day we talked about it. And yes. And crazy. And Rome was in Chicago for Brice and Win, our tour when we were in Chicago last week. And I brought that up to Rome, and Rome was like, how did you find that? I'm like, it's on YouTube.
He has like a lot of like past lives on the internet.
And Robert, just what I will say, his reviews were great. Like he only had like 8 videos, and they were of like the carnival, this carnival shit. But like him and his fiance, they did a really good job. And so again, cruises are so much fun.
Why'd he get out? COVID hit?
I think I think
You got out the
Survivor hit.
game?
Survivor hit, and it was,
Mhm.
curtains.
Yeah. Did he have to pay to go on the cruises, or he's sort of like, hey, I'm a cruise influencer. Let me go and cruise for free?
It's Rome.
Mhm.
He went on the cruise. He had to pay. He was trying to become a, cruise influencer, but his videos are really good. He only has a couple of them. But first of all, I also feel like I want a cruise vlog. I think that's so fun. And I think I have a milestone birthday coming up in a few years, like a decade ahead of
Mhm.
me. Um, I think I want to go on a solo cruise. Anyway, hold on, wait.
W-
Before we get there though, while I'm talking about cruises, I went on a cruise, and there is really nothing scarier than when you're on a cruise and in the middle of the night you go out to like one of the decks and you kind of look out into the deep, dark, black ocean. Yeah, the aliens are out there because like it's like it is it's pretty scary.
Yeah. Okay. So you've seen it firsthand, and that's how you know they're out there.
I'm like, you know what? If there were a place that they would be, it would be out here. But yeah, like I would go to the Bermuda, but I wouldn't go out at night though. Like I wouldn't go out on the deck at night, but I would
Yeah.
definitely sail through the Bermuda Triangle because there have been countless ships that have gone missing, Robert.
Yeah.
That
And where would you go on your solo cruise?
So I don't know. I would definitely want to take like a 7-day cruise that, stops at multiple ports. I don't know if I want to do like the Alaskan or if I want to
Oh,
do just a Caribbean one, but that is like the goal for myself is that I want to do a solo cruise. I think that would be so fun. And I think my personality
yeah.
lends to it. I could have all of the activities and social fun, and then I could like retreat to my stateroom and watch TV and order
Yeah.
order
Is
room.
there something special about it for you to do it solo?
Yes, because I feel like whenever I travel or whenever I do things, I always kind of like have a friend and I kind of rely on them to do stuff. And so it's like, you know what? I think, a decade forward when I reach this milestone
Yeah.
birthday, I think that, I should do something for myself that I enjoy. And it's always like, how many trips actually leave the friend group chat?
My solo trips are so much more enjoyable than my not solo trips.
Robert, you enjoy driving to the grocery store in the car by yourself.
Yeah, I think over the summer I drove to Washington D.C. and I went to a conference, and yeah, it was just like a great like, solo road trip. Because you know what? I feel like that I think that other people's expectations and other people's happiness really, but I never have a bad time by myself.
Yeah. Me
But
either.
and I feel like I'm a bad person to say this, but it's like, oh, okay. Then my family members, they're like, oh, something's bothering them. They're not happy. I'm like, what are we even doing? Why did we even come? It's
Yeah,
not right. I have the self awareness to know like that's a bad way to do it, but I can't take I like and then I spiral when it's like they're like we're here, we're on vacation, you're miserable. That's it. I've had it.
yeah, Robert, I get it.
Never
I
once had a bad time by myself.
I mean, listen, when you're in control of like what your day is, like just you alone by yourself, it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Most of
And
the
I love
times,
my family. I love my family.
Robert, ain't listen, on the Purple Pants Podcast Instagram page, every Sunday I'm posting self-care tips. Ain't nothing
Mhm.
wrong about being a little selfish, Robert.
Yeah. No, it's such a good point. And I really feel like that this was something I sort of like arrived at like only recently in my life. And I hate it because it makes me feel like a little bit like that. Oh, I feel like a kind of a bad person to say this, but I need to be like self first because if I'm not, and they always make this analogy like in the airplane, hey, you got to put your own mask on first before you can help somebody else. But that really is the case for me. Like I'm I'm no good for my family or for anybody else in my work life unless I'm doing the things to take care of myself first, and then I can be there for everybody else. But when I'm not doing the things that I need to take care of me, like I'm a shell of myself.
Robert, this is supposed to be about aliens. I don't know how we made this turn, but when I tell you over the last, I want to say 2 years, especially with the uptick in Bryce and Wynn, us touring, me working,
Mhm.
podcast, traveling, my social battery after I get done an event is at 0. And I've had to learn to start going in my house, turning my phone off, and I need a day or two to kind of sort of recharge myself. And in the beginning, I always felt so bad about it because my mom would be calling me, my sister, Wendell would be like, "You want to do something tonight? Let's do something tonight." And then I would be like, "Ugh, okay." Then I go out and then I'm having a bad time because I have an attitude because I really just wanted to be in my house. But I want to say that when we started this Tour 48, I had a conversation with Wendell. I said, "Hey, Wendell, I need for you to know that when we go to these cities, I don't want to be in the same hotel as you. When we get back from these trips, like I need for you to give me a day of like no expectations from me to you or anything else. Because Robert, tours in the past, when I say I was burning myself out, and I still am burning myself out because you know I got a full-time job and
I
I
don't know
gotta
how you do it. Yeah.
it's a lot, but I can say that the past like 3 Saturdays of me in my house, in my underwear, planting,
Mhm.
opening a box wine, listening to some Mary J. Blige has been like the most rewarding thing ever. And had I not really spoke up and said, like, hey, this is a boundary that I want to set, and me, I'm kind of like a people pleaser. I always want to make people happy. I'm always in host mode. I always want to make sure everyone's okay. Do you need anything? And it's like I realized that when's the last time I asked, am I okay? Have I done something that I want? And I used to feel bad when I would have these days and people would be like, well, what did you do? Like, I didn't leave my house. And that was a
Mhm.
success. Like, not having to get in my car, not leaving my house. But it has been one of the best things ever for Wendell and I's friendship and just for like my mental health and my peace, Robert. So again, I say all of this to say that sometimes you have to be selfish with yourself. And for you specifically, you doing 1,000,000 podcasts a day.
Yeah.
You got to deal with Dominic and Anthony's Legos all over the house.
And it was spring break this week.
Gentia said the same thing. Spring break, they was home all week. You gotta get your ice, you gotta get your
Mhm.
milk for your ice cream. You gotta make sure the first lady's okay. Who is making sure the baby boy is okay?
Yeah, well, me, I have to do it. And I do a lot of it in the morning. I do a lot of it in like the morning. And that's been the hard thing with everybody home this week is that, like, okay, it's like normally like they're off like going to school, but everybody's here. And now I want to go back to something you said that something that you changed is that you and Wendell, when you travel, stay at a different hotel. So
Yes.
not just in different hotel rooms, you literally will not stay in the same building.
I will not stay in the same building. One thing about a
What if you
window,
were like, well, if he was on a different floor, that would be you'd see him in the lobby?
Robert, people don't know a Wendeezy, right? Wendell is a father to an amazing son that I love. And his
Yes.
son actually said Uncle Bryce the other day for the first time, and I was crying. But Wendell has been a dad since he's 13, right? Wendell loves, and again, you go on a group trip, Wendell is that friend that has the itinerary. First of all,
Mhm.
when I'm on vacation, I don't want an itinerary. That's not vacation. Wendell, hey, do you want to work out at 7:45, then grab a coffee, then go for a hike, then we can watch TV, and then we can like have 20 minutes to rest, and then we can go to the Brice and Win event? No, I don't. Hey, I saw this cool place. Do you want to walk down the street and just see what type of plants they have in there? And again, I'll be like, yes, yes, yes. And so I have
Yeah.
discovered that if I'm at a different hotel, and also when we go on these trips, Robert, I'm in the hotel working Like I have to bring my work computer. I work. And
Yeah.
so Wendell doesn't work a normal 9 to 5 job. So walking to get coffee 45 minutes and taking a hike is great, but I get stressed out. I bring my work phone. I'm checking emails and I'm just like, so I stay at a different hotel, Robert,
Hmm.
because hey, if you want to go hiking, hey, sorry, traffic's crazy. 20 minutes away, can't make it. Hey, oh, you want to go to the gym? I'm going to go to the gym in my hotel. And he'll knock on your door.
Yeah.
And do you want to know one time what happened? I didn't answer. I said, yeah, hey, I'll get up in the morning and work out with you. Then we went out that night. And the next morning, when it was time to work out, Robert, I put my phone in do not disturb. Robert, do you know I woke up to this man in my room?
Yeah.
I said, how did you get in here? He said, I went to the front desk and said, I'm Brice. Can I have a key?
Maybe
And I had to,
it was proof of life. Maybe he wanted to make sure you were not dead.
my phone, you know, when you text somebody and they got that D&D on, it tells you
Yeah.
delivered quietly.
Mm.
So, yeah, I just had to be okay with setting boundaries and
What
know that
about,
lot.
I'm sorry.
No.
When you travel in, do you like when you both are coming from Philadelphia, will you make your own flight arrangements? Will you be on different flights to come in
Yes.
also?
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, when I'm trying to tell you, and I wouldn't do that before, but now we do because listen, when DZ, that man have a plan. That man and that man loves group activities and that. Listen, Wendell will be like, hey, we leave. The plane leaves at 8:45. Do you want to drive to? You want to drive to my house? We'll drive together. We can go to the lounge. We can get breakfast, and then we can get on the airplane.
Yeah.
No, I actually would rather sleep an extra 45 minutes. So, yeah, no, I've had to kind of just put a little boundary. And although I love when DZ and his heart is in the right place, but
No doubt. Nobody questions that.
sometimes the plans are the plans are the plans are the plans. I'll be stressed out, Robert. I don't know what to do.
Hmm.
So, yeah. And when I go on vacation, I want to vacation. What does that mean to you? It means get up, have a mimosa for breakfast, lay on the beach, take a nap, have some mimosa for lunch, take a nap, and enjoy my day.
Yeah.
Wind easy. Museum, hike, work out, walk around the property,
Hmm.
see who the maintenance man on duty is. Like, what? Why do you need to know his name? Well, in case my sink clogs up, like I can call to the front desk and ask directly for his name. Like, leave me alone.
Hmm.
So
Well, I
you just
totally get that you do so much. And so it's like, hey, I'm on vacation. I want to relax. I feel that way often where it's like, yeah, I'm going away to relax, not to go. If there's other people, I'm not saying this is Wendell, but there's other people like in my house they're not doing that much. And it's like, okay, well now I'm going somewhere to go do stuff.
yes. And kids change that. One of the things, the best thing about Wendell being a father, Robert, is that his son messes up his schedule, and I love it. Okay, anytime he has a son, I'm there because the plan that he thinks is going to be that day
Yeah.
isn't dictated by that Wendell. It's dictated by little Wendell. And all he want to do is run around, watch cartoons, and eat and listen. That sounds like a day that I can enjoy.
Yeah.
Robert, do you believe the aliens are real?
Yeah, I believe aliens are real. I'm not 100% sure that they're here visiting us, but I definitely believe that there's aliens out there. And I don't even think that that's, a question. So
Oh,
they're out there. I'm not 100% sure that they're here because I
okay.
feel like, why are they here? What are they doing? What do they want from here? Like,
What?
what are they looking for? Like, I just feel like if they are so sophisticated that they can take their ships and go, billions or millions of light years from.
This the last place you will want to come.
I just don't know what are they looking for. Like if they wanted just to take over our planet, I feel like they could do it so easy. Like we wouldn't have a chance if they wanted to. Like are they just like planners? Are they like still like working this whole thing out? Like it would take them like 5 minutes. Like so I don't know. Are they just curious? So they sort of just like looky-loos?
But why do you assume that if they are here or that they're here, they're going to take over?
Then why'd they come all this way? What do they want? Do we have something that they want? Are they just like fascinated by us? Are they just like studying us? Is it just that this is like the Galapagos Islands where they're just like, look at this. This is so freaking weird, this planet. Everything they do is crazy. This whole planet is nuts.
Yes. Right. Like they also could, the water could be a resource that they don't have. And so maybe it cools their ships off. Or maybe they're like that dad that really enjoys getting their car washed every Saturday. So they found an ocean that they could dip their ships in. I am a
You think the ship gets very dirty in space, and then this is like we're like the car wash. We're like Buc-ee's for them. They just come in and they're on they're going somewhere else. This is a great place. You wash the ship. You can grab some stuff. Like we got a great gift shop. They're like, oh my God, Earth, what a great pit stop.
And maybe since they're in the ocean, they're seeing fish, they're seeing the way, so I just am of the belief that they can be here and be exploring, or just, I don't think they need to want to dominate us. I think that is like the American way, or the American way of thinking is that like something new comes, gotta conquer, you gotta, so I'm just curious. I just would like to know what our government knows. Like that for me. Now that's a vacation. I get up 5 a.m. and go sit and watch and hear. Like I just would love, because they're saying they had like bodies, they have like ships that they are studying. I just want to know what they look like. Yeah. Also, the men, most of the men here on Earth are trash, and so if there's a possibility of a new species of some that the baby boy could, maybe there's a alien, a zaddy. I don't know. I just, I'd like to see.
And you would potentially be open to dating an alien.
Robert, at this point, yes. Okay. Yeah. Because what's left here, trash.
Well, what if you and an alien fell in love and the alien says to you, Brice, that I love you, but I have to go back to my planet. Would you move to the alien planet? Peace out.
Purple Pants Podcast would be BRB. Okay. See, listen, under one condition though, Robert.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to clear my credit? Because if he can clear the credit.
Yeah, well, you leave the planet. You don't even have to worry about the credit. The creditors are going to be like knocking on the door like Wendell in the hotel and like, sorry, nobody's home.
The way these tariffs are set up, I don't know like what it's going to be like for me to leave or to come back. But absolutely.
Now, I don't even want to ask, are we tariffing the other planets? That I don't know. That I think that's still TBD. We don't know for sure.
Well, after this podcast, and he'll hear about it. 75% on the tariffs going out, coming in
to the planets.
The planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm just, I'm curious. But also, another little thing. You've heard Gayle King. You know who Gayle King is, right?
Of course, yeah.
You know how she's a part of that like woman exploration?
She's going to space, yeah.
I'm a pass on that though.
Well, I was talking about this with Akiva the other day because we were talking because of what Katy Perry is going, and it's like okay, it's like the first all women crew, and it's all like a lot of like these like famous women, but I'm like, Who's flying the ship?
It's Katy Perry.
No, and I'm not saying that a woman can't fly the ship. I'm looking at like the list of people that are going, and none of them seem like that they're in their work history is flying a rocket ship.
Yeah. Then there was that interview of Gail talking about how she's so excited, but like she's like, I don't want to, like, I'm scared. And here, Gail, follow your gut instinct. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know what. Yeah, that make me a little nervous. But I mean, space exploration is something that's real, and in the near future, it will be probably more accessible. Maybe not in our lifetime, but maybe in your children's, grandchildren's lifetime. But again, it raises the question: why isn't there more studies or more exploration that's not put together by something made with parts from Costco's? Like, why aren't we trying to explore the ocean more?
I don't know. Not a lot of people want to go to the ocean.
How many really want to go to space?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It's big business going to space. I don't know. People don't want to go. People want to go on the ocean, but nobody wants to go under the ocean. There were like 5 guys, and they got into a thing that was made with like parts from like old Nintendo, and didn't go well.
Yeah, that was crazy. Now that was crazy, and I'm sure the aliens was like, "What the hell is going on?" Like the aliens could have helped them, but yeah, it's when you just think about it and you think about how much water covers our Earth, Robert. Like, why isn't there more exploration as to what's going on?
Yeah, send some drones down there.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and they do have those little rovers, but they can only go so deep. But I'm just saying, like, y'all spending billions of dollars trying to leave. We got some places y'all can't explore right now.
Yeah, maybe there's something good in there.
Robert.
Yeah.
The aliens apparently like it. So I'm saying, like, we should try it.
Yeah, they got that ship that's as bright as the sun down there. Just send a camera.
And that's because it's clean. Again, they came here to wash their ship, and when it comes out, it's shining.
Yeah. Okay. What else is going on, Brice? Anything else on your mind?
I mean, I just, I really wanted to deliver the UFOs. My new favorite show has come out, Love on the Spectrum.
Oh, yeah. New season.
New season. And when I tell you this weekend of a Brice weekend, I am binging the season I love.
Yeah. I've never seen it. Can you explain Love on the Spectrum to me?
So essentially it is not 90 Day Fiance, but essentially it's like Love Island, but in real life. There are people on the spectrum that have autism. Some of them live with their families, some of them live alone, and it really just kind of documents their dating experience.
And they date other people that are on the spectrum. It's always 2 people that are on the spectrum.
Yes, so it's always a main person, and then we see who they go out on dates with. And some, again, it being a spectrum, the functions of a lot of the people vary. And so some of the people on the show don't really want to date anyone on the spectrum. They want to date someone that's not on the spectrum. And that's always interesting. And there's this one couple, I forget their names, but it's 2 of them. They were both the people that we were watching. This one guy, he was like so nice. I loved him. This one girl, she wasn't really my favorite. She was not my favorite in the sense that, like, she had a lot of eligible bachelors. Okay. And she didn't like any of them. This one guy, I think his name was like, I want to get his name right. But essentially, they had went on a date. And she was like, oh, no, he's not my type. And she then went on to pick a date with this guy that was like not on the spectrum. And it didn't work out. Then the second season, she wants to spin the block. No, leave my man alone. He's so nice. But anyway, they ended up getting together. And because I loved him so much, I have to like her. But it's so interesting. And I just love it because I think that sometimes we think we're so different than you think that your life is so hard, or you think that like you go through experience different things. And then when you watch Love on the Spectrum, like I just and first of all, they're going on more dates than I am. Okay, like they are like, no, I'm being serious. Like they are going on more dates than I am, and some of them with their like their antisocial, or they don't read social cues. First of all, I think it's the best thing ever. They are so up front.
No
First date,
games. They're not playing games.
no games. I'm like, this is what I like. And I'm not even lying, Robert. I take notes. I'm like, you know what? I need to be like this on dates. Well, hey, what are you looking for?
Mhm.
Are you looking to get married? You plan on staying with your mom
Yeah.
forever?
That
You
you
trying
from
to get a
this
job?
planet?
Yeah, are you from this planet? Do you believe in aliens?
Mm-hmm.
So it is the best thing. So I cannot wait to binge it this
Is
weekend.
it all in like one city where like these seasons of Love is Blind are in like Austin or Chicago?
So normally, I want to say the first 2 seasons, they were like in Australia. And then I want to say the second season, it was in the United States. And so, yes, they're all over different cities. And sometimes people are from different cities, but they kind of all just make a season together. And then last
Yeah.
season, we got to see like our first like queer. She was a Black female and she was queer, and just seeing her date and her family, how supportive they are. It really is just a great show. And also kind of make me
Yeah.
sad.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you ever go on a dating show? Would
Uh,
you date on television?
of course,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean, I would go on Love on the Spectrum. Listen, then the one couple got married.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be crying, Robert, because it's so emotional. Then I'd be yelling because some people I don't gel with. It's great, but yeah, I absolutely would.
Do they just follow the couples from like the one season, or is it like then like 90 Day Fiance, you see more from them in the
You see
future?
more, and then some of the more people that the fans love will follow them. There's this other guy. He's like 34. He lives with his mom and dad. They're in their 80s, and he loves like dragons and different things. And so, mind you, first of all, be feeling like his dad be so inappropriate before he's going out on a date. He's like, hey, remember, keep your hands to yourself. And he's like, Dad, like that dad is so funny. But and then you hear the family stories about like, they're just saying they're older and they really just want him to find love and they want to know that he's going to be okay. And I'm like, that's every parent.
Yeah.
That's my mom. Like, and so I love Love on the Spectrum. So I'm thinking about binging, and then I might cover it. But I just also might listen, love, and enjoy
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Can you enjoy something the same way if you are not gonna podcast about it? Like, does it make you more interested or less interested?
Sometimes less.
Yeah.
If I'm going into it knowing that I'm going to podcast it, I think my best podcasts are when I discover something and then I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I need to tell the Purple Pants Posse about this. Sometimes when you go into it knowing that you have to podcast about it, it takes a little of the enjoyment out because it's like, it's homework. You got to make sure you know everything.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit out of it. So I'm not going in saying that I'm going to podcast about it. I'm going in to enjoy it. And if it moves me, I'll sit in this chair and talk
It's a
about
little
it.
freeing, right? When you don't have to podcast about it. And then you can sort of like talk about it after from like just like what resonated with you as opposed to like then, oh, let me get out my notes and then this happened and then this happened and this happened. And you could speak a little bit more from like what got to you.
Absolutely. Or just, when you and I are talking and we're just talking about shows that we watch or what's good or not. Like I love those type of conversations,
Yeah.
but also those conversations do make good podcasts.
Did you watch Adolescence?
So I did not watch yet, but I did Oh no, wait. No. I'm lying. I did. I watched 2 episodes. Because you're like, it's all one shot. But I feel like it's not all one shot though, Robert. That's what I was thinking the majority of the time when it's the Black investigator and he goes in to get the little boy. Yes, I did watch 2 episodes.
Yes. I haven't done any like looking into it. I don't know how they did it. If it really was one, because I can't imagine like there's like one like they're filming the whole thing and then they're like the camera's like off on a drone. So I don't know if they use like AI to like stitch the shots together. Or I don't really know how they did it. But sometimes like like a person walks by and the camera just follows them into the other room. Yeah.
Or I loved because again, that was the one thing on my mind. I was like, Robert said it's all one shot. And so for the first 20 minutes, I'm watching like, is this really all one shot? But I thought the scene of when they went to go pick up the little boy, when the
Yeah.
camera got to the house, and then the police cars kind of like simultaneously arrived. I was like, oh, okay, this is what Robert is talking about.
Yeah.
But I need to get back into it. But no, I did that day
Yeah.
we
It's
talked. I
intense.
did. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I want
Okay.
to know, did he do it? Because the father said he didn't do it.
Wow. Hard to believe your kids doing it. Like, we hear stories like, the school called and then they did like, no, impossible. Not my kids.
Have you ever had to go to a parent teacher? Have they ever had to call y'all in to talk?
My parents used to have to get called for parent teacher conference. We have not had to like be summoned to the school to talk to my kids, but multiple times
What?
that I got, that my parents had to go to the school.
For what? Tell us more.
There was a teacher that really, like, I really got under her skin, and I could be a pain in the ass for sure. And
You don't say.
yeah, and there was a teacher. Her name was Mrs. Sorgan. And Mrs. Sorgan did not care for the baby boy at all, and really did not like me. I'm trying to remember exactly what the incident was about that.
Was this middle school, high school?
This is high school.
Okay.
I know there was one point where that there was like a admin, like you could log into the admin accounts of like the computers. So it was like very rudimentary computers.
They had that in
And
the 80s?
this was the 90s, the early 90s. And we like somehow, I don't know how I knew the password for the thing and I changed the password. And then she didn't know what the password was anymore to get into the admin. But there was something like, I was just being like a wise ass. And then she like made me go, like kick me out of the class. And then my dad had to go to the school. And this is something I remember. And I never quite got like from my dad what was going on, but he had to go to like the guidance counselor. And I remember him like being in the office with a guidance counselor. And he was telling the guidance counselor that, okay, the teacher is, very hard on me. And he told the guidance counselor that I come home and I cry all the time about how mean the teacher was. But that wasn't true. I didn't really do that.
First of all, we love him, Papa Cesternino. Okay, he was riding for little Robert.
That's what I felt like. And I often didn't feel that way about my dad. I often didn't feel that way, that he was like sticking up for me with other people. But I did feel like that time he came to the school and he was talking to the guidance counselor and was telling her about how I'm crying about how mean the teacher is to me. That I don't know if he was like trying to like save face. It was awkward for him, but I kind of felt like, oh, like, wow, like I think my dad is like trying to cover for me.
Were you sitting outside the office while this meeting was happening?
I was nearby enough to hear it. I will say, I think the difference is that like if a lot of times like parents now, and maybe like my wife included, if they got a bad report from the teacher, like they'd be a little bit more like, no, like that is not like, and would. And this is like, and maybe I'm not. This isn't a good example because I'm saying my dad said I was I was crying about it, but like I think that like in like older generations, it's like the teacher said what, you're grounded. Like whereas I feel like there's a lot more pushback from the parents of like that my kid would never do that. The teacher is bad and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't get in trouble a lot. But there were some instances that Barb would have to call up to the school, and I definitely would minimize my role in the situation.
Yeah.
And but I feel like my mom knew, but my mom, she didn't play about her baby boys. So my mom would have been like your dad, and well, what are y'all doing about it? Well, what has happened? And
Mhm.
then we would get in the car, and then she would smack me, and then I'd be on punishment. But like, she would definitely save face, or just like, always protect her baby boy. So I think that's, I
Yeah.
think that transcends
The
generations.
teachers were more likely to call.
Oh
And
yeah.
I can remember one time that one teacher was on the phone with my mom, and then another teacher came in and said, "Oh, you're talking to Mrs. Cesternino? Let me get on." And then like it got like 2 for 1.
Yeah, that used to be the thing. They would call like your parent at work.
Yeah.
Uh, they never had to do that with my mom. I was an angel child, but for my
Snitch.
brothers, yeah, okay. And were you just standing there like,
I didn't know that like you wouldn't know, and then you'd come home and then you'd be
oh,
like,
and they would be
"So."
like,
Yeah.
now
Hmm.
what I used to, I didn't necessarily get in trouble, but they, in high school, they would have the attendance. It was automated. And so, like, if you missed a class or like, it would be like at like 7:30, they would call, be like, do, 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 West Morton High School, Brice Johnston absent.
Yeah.
No note excuse, like stuff like that. And so
Wait, what was that? That was like the caller ID?
no, it was like an automated system
Oh.
that, like, if you missed a period, or like if there was something off with the attendance of you not being there, it would automatically call, and it would, if you picked up, you would listen to
Oh,
it.
that was like the
Or
voicemail.
that was like the automated voice, yeah, and they would leave it on the
Mhm.
voice answering machine. And so I didn't really miss a lot of school, but my senior year, baby boy, all my brothers were out. Like, I wasn't going to school like that towards the end. And so that would always call, and I would try to like get it off the answer machine. And we actually like had one of those. My mom had it like an answer machine where it was like physical.
Yeah.
And it'd be like boop, and
The
she'd be like,
tape.
yeah, praise God. God is good. Thank you for calling the Johnson resident. Like, first of all, real ratchet, Barbara. Like, she would have music playing. Like, I was just like, ugh, thinking back to it. But I would always try to like get into it to like, oh, I don't want her to hear that. But it would always mess up the order. And my mom will always know that something was off. But that's what I would hate the most, is the answer machine calling about attendance.
Yeah.
But
I would have a couple times because my parents would be at work and then I would get home first and I could look in the mail. And sometimes they would send, I forget what they called, like an interim notice, I
and
think is
yeah,
what it was. Yeah. And it would be like, "Oh, Rob is like doing bad in this class." And then it's like, "Okay, well, I'm taking that out of the mail." And then I think that when they called on the phone, they're like, "Oh, well, you didn't get the thing?" Like, "No, we didn't get that." I was like, "Oh, they got caught."
yeah, and most of them, they would have to sign, and you would have to bring it back.
Yeah, I don't remember maybe if I like forged the signature or not.
Robert, your colorful background is so. Were you a skater? Like, what was your like
No,
high school
no.
aesthetic?
My high school aesthetic was not good, Bryce. I am a late bloomer in life. My parents moved when I was in ninth grade. And so I was never very popular in the school. I never really had like a lot of friends. Spent a lot of time watching the television. I moved to a new school when I was in ninth grade. So I started high school, the first day of high school. I was the new guy. I remember
Same.
that vividly. I was in my second period, and I was in the classroom, and a kid like walked in and pointed at me like, "Who's the new guy?" And the students did not take to me instantly. I think by the time I was like a senior, like people had warmed up to me. I also in
A
ninth
senior.
grade, I got braces in ninth grade. I didn't that most people at the age that most of my peers were getting their braces off. I got braces in ninth grade. I don't know what my parents like what the plan was here in terms of like who was advising them on the orthodontics or whatever. I don't know what like how dental insurance that they had or how they were doing this. My sister also had braces for like 6 years. We had like the worst orthodontists that you could get. And I got braces in ninth grade. And then my braces came off. I think I was a sophomore in college when my braces came
Now,
off.
now let me ask you this though. First of all, so similar, Robert, our stories. I started a new high school in ninth grade and I got braces in ninth grade.
Yeah.
I was so excited for braces. My brothers also had braces. My one brother, Bevan, that passed, he had braces from eighth grade to like first year of college. But he wasn't going to his adjustment appointments though. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't, even though my mom would take him, like he would always make excuses not to go. Were you going to your adjustments regularly?
I mean, I wasn't skipping them. Like if my parents like took me or not. I mean, I feel like we went a bunch. I think that these people did not know what they were doing. And I think that was really the part of the issue there. And it did not. I went to college with braces, and it did not help me make friends.
The one thing I loved about braces, one, because I knew my brothers always had braces for a long time because I know that they weren't going to their appointments. Because my brothers, like, they would catch the bus to their appointments. But I loved, you could get the little color rings. Like
Oh,
I would be getting green, thinking I'm all cool, like, hey, but I had my braces. Like I got them off in like 10th grade. I was very
oh,
happy.
like 2 years?
Yeah.
Well, look at you.
I was excited to start ninth grade in a new school. Well, I guess everyone kind of starts ninth grade in a new
Yeah.
school. But I was like, we had moved. My mom and stepdad had separated, so we started lived in a new area, and I was like, yes. And again, this is young Brice. And so I'm like, I'm not going to get teased this year. Like, I was so excited to start a new school. And I was like, they're not going to call me gay. This is going to be a new beginning. I'm so excited. Robert, it was like the first day of school, similarly to you. Like, I'm in homeroom, and again, all of these kids have gone to elementary school, middle school together. And so, like, I'm in homeroom, and again, I don't want to age myself, but I had like a Guess denim jacket with the Guess. They like matched. It was like black with a little red. That was the thing back in the day. I had my white Air Forces. I was looking fresh, sitting in homeroom, and I guess people had saw me, so I was just sitting there, and I guess the girls were like, "Oh, we got somebody new," and then they were like, "What's your name?" And in my mind, Robert, I'm like, Brice, and then like. And the moment, horrible, but reflecting back, so funny. She was like, "Oh, you're gay," and then like I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh," I was like, maybe there's something to that. Like it's following me. But yeah, that was my first day of ninth grade. I just knew I
Yeah.
was like a fresh start.
Did
It's
you
gonna be
find your way
of course,
eventually?
of course.
Yeah.
Of course, I made friends with one of the tallest girls in the school. Her name was Dara. And so I felt my protection. And Dara had a sister named Leia. And so like they quickly became very popular in school. And so I was their friend. And so like you don't mess with me because you gotta deal with Dara and Leia. And I don't want to say how many years later, but we could say 6 years later, Dara and I are still best friends.
Yeah.
Her children are my godchildren. I'm like, so I made meaningful connections that year, but
Yeah.
whew, I thought I was gonna slide by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
Now,
look at
how we
us
go
now.
from look at us now, Robert. Look at us now, talking about aliens,
Mm-hmm.
to go to self-care,
Yeah.
to then bringing it down that you was getting in trouble. You was getting double teamed on the phone. They was
I got in
calling.
trouble. Well, I think I would try to be a class clown in school because I felt like that this was like the only opportunity I had to show people. Nobody was talking to me otherwise, but I kind of felt like if I could like, be funny in the class, like maybe like that would like be something that would help me. I don't think I premeditated it like that, but I kind of felt like that maybe this was something I could be doing that maybe people thought I was funny.
So when you changed the password, you weren't with friends like, oh, we're going to do this. Like
I
you
think
were
there might have been like there
okay.
was like a couple people in the class that like knew what was happening.
Were you in high school during 9/11, or were you in college?
I was I graduated from college in 9/11. Yes, I
Okay.
was working in the insurance office.
in Los
I was on
Angeles?
Long Island. Yeah, I
Long
was
Island. Oh,
yeah, like,
wow.
yeah. So I wasn't like in Manhattan or anything like that, but I remember like being at work that morning and then hearing like and I had a friend that I went to college with that worked on the in the stock exchange and not in the World Trade Center, but in that financial district. And then I heard a report like a plane hit the one of the towers. I was like, oh, I thought it was like a little like idiot like 2-person plane. And then then you start to hear then the second one hit, and all hell was breaking loose. And then I was very worried for my friend who was in that area. I mean, I heard from him that by the end of the night. But yeah, I was at that point. I had just graduated from college in the December of 2000.
Do you remember when you were high school, elementary, any like disasters or fire drills or something like not out of the ordinary that happened?
Well, they made us watch the OJ verdict.
Wait. Well, I mean, again, I guess, but were you in a specific class? Was it a teacher?
No,
What?
I feel like that. I don't think this is just for me that the OJ trial was such a big deal that I must have been in like 9th or 10th grade when they were gonna announce like, hey everybody, today's the day they're gonna announce if OJ is innocent or not. And I just feel like everybody was like in a classroom with like watching the OJ verdict live.
What? What was the sentiment?
Well, people felt like that OJ kind of got away with one.
If it don't fit, you gotta acquit.
They go, yeah. So, I mean, it was a big like people. I feel like that people my age. I feel like that they say like the Challenger and OJ verdict was like the two things that they showed us on television in school.
What's the Challenger?
The space shuttle that blew up.
Oh,
yeah.
that exploded. Oh, yeah.
But to me, I was I think probably in second grade. I think that to me is a little bit. I don't know if that's like sort of like a Mandela effect. I don't really remember if I had watched it in a classroom or if they showed us that in the classroom. I feel like that people have talked about that, but I'm not sure if that's my memory or if I'm making that up.
Yeah, I feel like my generation.
They did show us OJ.
That's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
but also, I guess I could understand. But yeah, no, that's kind of crazy, Robert. I do feel like my generation, the millennials, I feel like we have experienced the absolute most trauma
Mm-hmm.
out of all of the generations. Like we watched 9/11, but I think we kind of went through like I don't know why we making this weird turn down dark, but no, like we went through like school shootings. Like that was
Mm-hmm.
birthed during our upbringing. And I remember like having like an active shooter at my high school. And that was
Oh my
just,
God.
yeah. It wasn't like yeah, but like someone had like we went on lockdown. Like it was like just crazy to think. And I just always remember talking to my mom about it. And my mom's like, well, when I went to school, we would have to get under the desk because we thought like
Mm-hmm.
we were going to get atomic bombs. But just random thoughts that are coming to my mind when I'm thinking about like high school and like different stuff. We had a fire in the kitchen.
A fire in the kitchen in your home?
No, a fire in the kitchen at school.
Yeah.
And they pulled the fire alarm. And at this school, the kitchen was like in the basement. And we were at gym. Like again, trauma. We had to run by the flames. Like, but I mean, it was just not that bad. But like when you're in third grade and like but yeah, school's a crazy place. Well, I don't know how we got here, but
yeah,
I'm glad we're here. I always love chatting with you.
I'm exhausted.
This is the water cooler, Robert. This is what it
cooler.
is.
Okay. All right. Well, Brice, let me let you get to some of your time with Love on the Spectrum this weekend.
Thank you.
Where is your next tour stop? Is it Austin yet?
It is Austin. It'll be April 23rd. Brice and when we're pulling into the city, it's going to be amazing, star-studded. I can't wait, but I'm really excited about my Amazing Race coverage with Brooke Cam High. This season of Amazing Race, Robert, is
I know. You
creme de
love
la
the
crop.
Amazing Race.
I'm really becoming more of an Amazing Race fan than Survivor.
Wow.
Not, I mean, I love Survivor, but I really am drinking the Amazing Race Kool-Aid. And I think specifically with this season, where it's not a COVID season, we're actually getting to see what it used to kind of sort of be like. It's really, really great. So I'm really excited for my pit stop coverage of Amazing Race with Brooke. But yeah, I'm excited. The Purple
Okay.
Pants is doing its thing.
All right. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Okay.
Don't make me call your mom at work from school if
Yeah.
you're not subscribed to the Purple Pants podcast.
That's right. And then I'll see you in person in Boston.
I can't wait. You know, I
Mhm.
love a good live event. Boston is my first. No, it's not my first, but Boston is like my first live event that I felt like I had to travel to a RHAP event.
Oh, you
And
were there. Was it 2018
mhm.
when frickin' why can't I remember her name? What's her name from Boston? From
Denise,
China, Denise. Is she coming? Did anybody call her? Crazy
listen,
Denise?
listen, first of all, you want to know a crazy story about Denise? First of all, I love Denise. I have Denise's number. I text her.
Her.
I text her. She doesn't respond. Do you know the only way that I could get Denise to respond?
Oh, I think I have some guesses. Yeah.
Facebook Messenger.
Oh, I thought you could tell her tell her something to get her to respond.
No.
Yeah.
I'd be like, girl, is this the same number? She's like, yeah, that's my number. And then I go on Facebook message and it's like 30 messages. Like, girl, use my number.
Mhm.
But I'll tell her RHAP is rolling into town, Robert. Don't
Let her
listen.
know.
Nicole is a good time.
Yeah. Nicole.
I mean, Nicole, Denise.
Yeah, so I was gonna say. Yeah, Nicole's not coming. All right. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us for the water cooler talk. Can't wait to do it again. Looking forward to reading what you have to say in the comments always. Check out everything else we have going on here on RHAP. Watch RHAP.com. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.